obedience, 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 obedience. Obedience is a cornerstone of our faith in God. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Being obedient requires faith in God. Without faith, it is impossible to walk with God. I will. Obedience. Obey God. Hey y'all, it's Shantavia,
And Ashley.
and this is Obedience Podcast. So today we are continuing our quarantine series, and today we are following up with Ivana Andrews.
Hey, Ivana.
Wow.
Insert clap.
So it's been a long time since we filmed our therapy episode. It's been, what is it?
4 months?
We recorded it in like December, right?
Yeah, it's been like 6
6 months
months. Yeah.
since we recorded it. So I feel like this follow-up is well overdue.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
How have you been doing during the quarantine?
I have had some good days and I've had some really bad days, to be honest. I thought I would be absolutely fine being the introverted person that I am. I'm like, this is great. I can not have to deal with people and I can be in my apartment and it is wonderful. And um and then I had days that were really rough as more and more symptoms came out and the numbers kept rising and things got more serious, and seeing that people in the African American community weren't taking it seriously, I developed a whole lot of anxiety about it and heartbreak. And then things started to, take a downturn. So I had to take social media breaks and find more hobbies and start taking care of my mental health immediately, expeditiously, um, for to be okay. So,
What have your hobbies consisted of?
um, I kind of just started returning back to things that I enjoyed as a kid. Stuff that just gave me just genuine joy and took my worries away. So I have returned to apartment solo dance parties. But so I'll get a playlist or whatever, some music, some from my childhood. A lot of it has been some Janet Jackson hits. And I'll turn I'll close the blinds, I'll turn all the lights off, and I'll just be in my living room dancing by myself just to get my energy, get the anxious energy out and just have some fun. I started back reading a lot. I've been reading a lot more than before. I do adult coloring. And I've gotten I was a skincare junkie before, but it is bad. I'm like I actually did and Shay can attest to this. Shantae can attest to this because I was sending her screenshots and I'm like, look at my smile lines. And she's like, you don't have that. What? No, what are you making me look at? I don't see what you're talking about.
Like, what's the difference? I don't.
I have smile lines. I do not want smile lines on my straight face. So I ended up I have a whole new nighttime regimen with retinol products. Yeah. So that's what, that's what I've been doing to for my mental health and self-care.
I just want to mention it is nothing wrong with the little dance party because at least you by yourself. Because when I have mine, people walk in on me and I'm like, so at least you don't have to worry about interruptions. So what's one of the craziest things that you've seen during the quarantine? We like 3 months into it now, so I know you
Oh,
probably did a lot of crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
the craziest things that I have seen, some of the things that I've just been like, really, are the mask alternatives that people are coming up with in grocery stores and public places.
I think
And
my favorite one was a scuba diver outfit.
Oh yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
saw that. I was like, okay.
They
So,
said the plague is coming to my body.
like, I'm like, aren't you hot? And then I'm like, how are you breathing? And I'm like, right, you got a whole oxygen tank. So, and then like on the more serious tip, like the things that I've seen that were just absolutely crazy to me are people who are the conspiracy theorists and are just like, it's
5G.
and it's Illuminati and it's not real and I want my freedom back and I'm gonna have this block party regardless and I'm gonna take my kids to the park and I'm gonna do this. And people who have those close contact customer facing businesses like barbers and hairstylists, it's like I'm gonna make house calls.
Yeah.
You're not gonna stop my. And I think there was even a barber, I think over in Mississippi, not too far from us, that ended up catching COVID and passing away from doing house calls. And so you know, it's a lot of craziness.
I saw a post the other day. It was like, I think it's funny how Americans just got tired of COVID and said that it was over. Like, we run the virus doesn't run us. It's like,
Right.
okay, I've been in the house too long. I'm tired of it. Open everything back up. I die. That's pretty much their attitude.
Right. I think I saw that too. And yeah, I feel that. I feel that. That resonates. That resonates with me. I mean, and I'm getting tired of being in the house. And I think the thing is I miss my people. Like I said, I'm an extrovert, introvert. I don't like large crowds, but I have my people, my certain people that I like that gives me comfort that I like to spend time with. So I miss those people. I have my little tribe, my coworker friends, my church friends, certain family members, and I'm like, I can't spend time with these people, and so that part is starting to bother me. But as far as anything else, like these eyebrows gonna grow out, I might have to learn how to, um, break out my tweezers from 2011. Um, you know, this fro gonna get large. Like I'm not going back to the barber probably for the rest of this year. I'm not like I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
So we're gonna play some old clips back from our previous episode. So go ahead and play.
Get serious about it into adulthood. When the light bulb came on, like this is something that I'm going to have to deal with.
So from that clip, how have you been dealing with therapy for the rest of your life?
Um, I mean I've started to take it a lot more seriously. Um, I was taking it seriously, but as I realized how much anxiety quarantine was causing me, um, it became that, doubly, like even more important. So I have faithfully been attending telehealth therapy sessions with my therapist, and that has helped tremendously. Just being able to talk some stuff out Those regular therapy sessions, I've been doing them every 2 weeks to be able to talk it out and talk out strategy, um, to make sure that I'm actually acknowledging um, the things that I feel, instead of suppressing them. That has helped a lot. It's been a journey and um, a learning experience about myself, and I just have to keep on pushing forward.
That's good. So this next clip, I thought was it really pointed out to me because I feel like everybody goes to this stage in their life. So I wanted to revisit the clip and then ask you a question on it.
I was not prepared to be, full on adulting. In my head, I'm like, I'm 25. All right. I'm finally, getting ready to graduate college. All right. I got these 2 jobs. I'm good. Everything's good right now. But even though all of that was going on and I looked great on the outside, I didn't know how to adult properly. I didn't know, I was just thrown out like, okay, there is nobody to fall on.
So everyone has to go through a stage of adulting and transitioning from a teenager to this thing called adulting. So I wanted to know, how has adulting been going for you these days? And can you give our viewers any tips on how to successfully adult or how to navigate through it?
It's not natural part of adulting for me is that you have to have a routine, and a plan, and you can't just wing things. When you're full on adulting, you have responsibilities. Like you have a, a car to take care of and have that maintenance. You have your living space that you have to take care of and keep clean and keep up with maintenance and rent and utilities, bills in general. You have financial responsibilities. You have responsibilities to your own physical health, your mental health. You have responsibilities to your job. And so it's not something that you can just be like, oh, just wake up and wing it. You have to have a routine. And so, um, and a plan. So my suggestion is kind of you always need to plan out your days. Even if it's not a work day, kind of have a plan of what you're going to do. Um, Even for your just chill days, so that you don't have the space for anything negative as far as in your thought process to come in.
That is so good what you pointed out, having a plan even on days when you don't have to work. Cause I definitely know, like on weekends, I'll like have this idea of what I want to do, but next thing I know, I like watch Netflix all day, and
Mm-hmm.
it's 7 o'clock at night, and it's like, ooh, I didn't finish any of what I wanted to do on just my personal things that I wanted to complete. So I think that is a very important thing to.
Because I do believe like an idle mind is the devil's camp. Like that's his time that he can come in and just kind of take over your mind. So when you do feel like you do have an idle mind, you better get up real quick and have some kind of
I don't mind. He be like,
Oh me. And still have a plan in place. That's good.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite clips that you that from our episode. This is one of my favorite statements that you made. So let's go ahead and play the clip.
Therapy isn't, there's a stigma even with the word, just therapy in general. And therapy doesn't necessarily mean that you have a diagnosis. It doesn't mean that you have, you know, bipolarism, schizophrenia, anxiety, anything of that nature. You may just not have coping skills.
That's true. That is one of my favorite ones because, like I said, there's some stigmas around the word therapy and going to see a therapist. that doesn't mean that you're crazy or that you have a diagnosis. And that was pretty much my number one reason of why I did not go. So can you speak on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, that is something that I push. I have, as I have grown in my own mental health journey, become more and more of an advocate for therapy. So, I mean, if anybody opens up to me and I feel like that is there's something about me that happens, that I just tell everyone that will listen, if you're having a bad time or you're confused about something or you just need a little bit of help, you don't are unsure about how to get through any type of situation, it's always good to seek out someone who has the proper knowledge and skills to guide you through that so that you can internalize that, learn it, and keep that knowledge for the future, for future situations.
That's very true. Because, like you said, you can go to therapy for like 6 months and still use all those um, tactics that your therapist gave you throughout your entire life.
Right. Right.
All right. So the next question, the next clip that we have, the question was, do you think churches are doing enough for the mental health community? And this was your response.
Don't believe the churches are doing enough as far as discussing mental health. I notice that a lot of the discussion about mental health within churches tends to be the spirit of depression, the spirit of anxiety, and where that very well may be true that those spirits exist, that is not always the case. With my church, both of my pastors, pastor and co-pastor, they are both counselors by trade. So it helps to have that understanding that they have that knowledge, book knowledge of this is, therapy techniques, the different mind frames, and how to talk to people and get them to cope, and also have the knowledge of, this is what God says along with that.
So I wanted to see, do you think that there has been any progress in the church community since we recorded the episode? Or you still feel the same way?
With the quarantine and the pandemic, I think there have been great strides. And I think that's one positive of this. There's been great strides in the church community in wanting to take care of their church members, not just their spiritual health, but their mental health as far as how they're coping with all of this. For example, there's a pastor that I follow on Instagram who, even though she had this personality before the quarantine, has started to, because she can't hold services, public services, has started to do an Insta Auntie series where she's giving these tips and tidbits, life skills of how to adjust, and it's taking from her life experience and her testimony, as well as leading people to prayer and relating it to the Bible. So I've seen great strides, I think, in the church as a whole, as they're shifting to want to take care of their members' mental health.
I agree with you. There have been a lot of strides with the church community since we filmed. I feel like I know one of the things we had a little session at our church, Right Way Christians in the church, but it was actually what was it called, Ashley?
What Men Think series.
Yes. So we had that series, and we went, thinking it was just gonna be men talking, just telling their opinions, but actually, it was like a huge transition because at the end of it, we were introduced to a therapist who was a member of our church, and she was able to talk to us as women and provide her card to everyone. So I was really um, happy I went, and it made me feel like, okay, yes, my church is doing something for mental health. It made me like feel proud that I was a member of that church.
I think I remember you mentioning that, and I remember this because I was immediately turned off by the title of the series.
Yeah.
I remember this. I'm just being honest.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Yes. So we actually have a clip where Ashley actually spoke it into existence of this actually happening.
You know what I think it'll be great? Like when members come to pastors to point them in the direction of their
great. That's a great idea.
I think that'll be great. Like maybe I don't know, like
that's a great idea.
It could be great if like every church had
Mm-hmm.
a sit-in therapist, like a therapist on payroll.
Yeah.
It'd be great. I know every church can't have that, but it'd be great if that was possible. You see from that clip, like literally I felt like what Ashley mentioned came to life in that moment at that little event that we had. And so I wanted to talk to you about it to let you know what happened. And I know that you were like super against the title of it. And they even talked about the title. Well, she talked about how she didn't like the title when she stood up.
Yeah. And Pastor B, he did apologize that, didn't want to offend anyone. I can't remember his exact words. But he did address the actual title of not meaning to, or the intentions of like offending anyone from the topic or turning anyone off. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. But
it was a good event.
I enjoyed myself. I'm so glad because I was upset. I was in my I was in my feelings. I was like, what? Because I actually I had attended some events at your church, and like I said at the last episode, like your pastors mentor my pastors. I have a lot of respect and affinity towards them. So I was just like, what?
Yeah. It was a great concept with an iffy title, but he definitely cleared it up. And he didn't mean it how people took it from the title. It was definitely a good event. I learned a lot from it. I appreciated in the event having every type of man in the panel. So the answers, I didn't feel that they were all biased. I felt like some of them were coming from their own experience or experiences that I haven't been able to experience. And I feel like I really did get into the mind state of a man. It helped me realize, okay, everything that I may think that I'm ready for, I'm not really ready for it at this point because I'm hearing them talk about it. And it's just like, okay, wait, let me just live in my moment of being alone and figure out who I am before I try to take on this whole other person. So.
And I just found the exact title of the event. It was, okay, it's What's Wrong With Me.
Yep.
It was, yeah. I can definitely see how that can offend someone. So
yeah,
I'm going to apologize publicly. So yeah.
I'm so glad. Did he record it? Now I want to watch it.
It was live streamed. Yeah. So if you guys want to take a look at it, go to our church's Facebook page, Right Way Christian Center. I'll put it right below. And it was live streamed.
Yeah.
And you can go back and watch it.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some digging on the page because I can't remember the exact date. I know it's on a Saturday.
It was before quarantine.
Yeah.
Because the church was packed. So thank God it was before the quarantine because we all probably would have got it up in that. It was packed.
Yeah, it was. We was in there for a while. I think like 3 hours.
Yes.
And he literally went through all of the questions that we had. So we had like an index card, and we wrote down our questions, and we went through every one of them. We was at all,
Yes.
but it was
And we hit the hard topics too. They even talked about masturbation, and I was just like,
Like clutching your pearls, like, oh Lord.
yeah, yeah. And you know, the pastor is like, you shouldn't do that. The therapist is like, but you have to do it. I was like, so we got down and dirty.
Yeah.
We didn't skip any topic. So, but that's one thing I do enjoy about, you know, being a member of that church. Because I mean, I feel like they keep it pretty real. You feel like that too, Ashley?
I do too. I like the realness. Don't sugarcoat it. You got to give it to me. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, okay, I'm supposed to be, where's that joy that I'm supposed to have?
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, why don't I have that?
Mhm.
And, you know, you go through that, well, what is something wrong with me? Is my faith not strong? Like, what do I need to do? How do I fix that? And I think it just is a great aid because you can have that strong faith, that, you know, that joy in Christ and still, you know, go to this person that, as we've been saying throughout the episode, someone that he's placed specifically for you to express those things to and get that help that you need. So I think it's definitely a great addition to helping the faith.
When I heard that clip, I felt like it really resonated to like what's going on today, because like when this pandemic first started happening, I did feel like a lot of Christians were judging younger Christians, or like new in the faith Christians who were worried. You know,
Right.
you'll have people like, I'm not going out the house. And then you have people like, well, I'm covered by the blood, I'm going out the house. And it's kind of like, wait, what's wrong with my faith? Like, why, like, I should be like them. Like, what's wrong with me? And so that clip with you saying it just made me really think about, okay, I felt like some of that was happening. What I had to realize is you have to own your faith. Like everybody meets God at a certain point, and he'll come to them and meet them. And however much faith that you have in that moment, God will help you get through it. So for the person who has enough faith to go outside without a mask, God will meet them in that moment. But then you have your people who like, I have faith to trust God who told me to obey the laws of the earth or
There
the
you go.
land. And so I am going to trust God in that way, you know? So
Yes.
it's just, don't judge everybody's faith journey. Respect everybody's faith journey, because God will meet them where he needs to meet them. So.
Right.
So this next clip is something that I've actually been struggling with lately. So I wanted to play it and then get some advice from our good old host, Ashley.
I took from my therapy sessions. Like, she just said, look, Ashley, we're not perfect. And I just started crying. I was just like, oh my gosh, I have a revelation, but we're not perfect. And, you know, so we're going to mess up. But I would have like different moments of just breakdowns of like, oh, this is supposed to be this. And I put so much pressure on myself of being something that society has said that we should be by the age of 25 or 30 or whatever it may be.
Okay, so Ashley, I wanted to know, like, how has your journey to knowing that you're not perfect all the time been?
I would have to say, especially like during this time, like I am approaching the age of 30, and sometimes, you know, those stigmas come on you. You should be at this point in your life. You should have this, and that. Um, but accepting the journey that is for me, and accepting God's grace. And I know His grace is sufficient. We know the verses, and it's abundant, and it never runs out on us. And sometimes it's hard to accept that, but I've just learned to extend grace to yourself and to take the grace that God has given you freely, and look, and to really, of course, we're not perfect, but we serve a perfect God.
Yeah.
Also, to like, even if you want to be at this place right now, you can set your own goals. And also with that, it inviting God into your desires, because I believe that He has given you the desires on your heart, and ask God, okay, what is it that I need to do um, for this to take place in my life, or what haven't I done that you've already told me to do, um, that's preventing me from moving forward in my life. And I had to have that conversation with God myself. And little quick tidbit, it was me not trusting God. And I realized that it was more so because others people had hurt me. And I just apologized to God, and I was just like, you know what? I'm sorry, God, because I've allowed people to affect my trust in you. And that's not fair. And so, I'm on this journey now of just saying, look, I trust you daily, and I accept your grace daily. And whatever it is in this day you have for me to do, I accept it, and let's move forward. And I accept your grace, and I'm not perfect. I'm going to mess up along the way. But let's move forward in perfection, and let's make these strides to living a better life.
I think that's such good advice, just to have a little hot moment in this episode. I have been struggling in that. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was like, okay, I'm going to be married by 21, and then, I'll have my first child when I'm 23. And so when 21 happened, it wasn't a big deal that I wasn't married. But like, for some reason, when I realized I was about to turn 27, I was like, oh, that's real close to 30. And I haven't done anything I really want to do. So I've been struggling with having an issue with not being up to society standards. And so I have begun to struggle with that. I really just think it's the enemy just trying to get in my head, because I have been A-okay lately, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, I know one thing that I was listening to on YouTube, and it was like, that's exactly how I feel. The girl was like, you know how people have like these top things that they want to accomplish in their lives, and for some people it's like, okay, I want to get my master's degree, or I want to get my doctorate, I want to become a doctor. It's like very specific, and I was like, I don't really have anything like that. It was like, I just want to be a parent and a wife, and right now I'm not that. So I just feel like my top two things are non-existent. And so feeling come over me, it has been really hard to accept, like you said, where God has me at in my life, and know that He has me there for a reason, and just accepting to dive deep into that reason so I can get what I eventually want. And like you said, accepting Him into those desires. So it's kind of like, okay, God, this is what I want. Show me what I need to do so I can get what I want. Because I know you're holding it back right now for a reason. So show me the reason you're holding it back. And I know, yeah, you could come in.
Can I just minister for a moment? Okay, so let me just minister to the both of you for a moment. I'm 33. Hello, hi. I will be 34 June 29th. And so I've already been where you are, and I still am sometimes. I had a whole plan, and my plan fell apart at 25. I just want to encourage you guys that you can, it's fine to have a plan, but it's also fine to have that, to build that faith and have that faith into what God's plan is for you in your life. Sometimes, like you were saying, like things are delayed for a reason. And, your timeline isn't God's timeline. And you have to just work on accepting that and trying to get in tune with, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to be learning in this season? What is it that I can be doing during this season to glorify God? And, work on that, and being focused on that will bring you to the things and the desires of your heart. Because, God is not going to, he knows those desires. He's not going to withhold anything from you. But it's always going to be his timing and, his purpose over your life. And just kind of sitting in that, letting that resonate, and then even when you have those impatient moments, crying out to him and just letting him know, like, how you're feeling, and then surrendering that, and moving forward.
I'm just gonna need some mentoring from both of y'all through this season.
Yeah, I really up and Nick during this season.
I know, like, if we bring up a song of the week, a song that I've always, like, when I feel it coming on, like those thoughts, I'll go to it. And it's Tasha Cobb's song, Smile. It's towards the end of the song where she says, you won't let me down. You won't let me fall. So I give it to you. And so just meditating on those words, because that's so true. Like you were saying, Ashley, we get so scared to trust God, but he has a plan for us, and his plan is going to work out for our good. And we just got to let it go to him and just know that he won't let us down. Whatever we're going to get at the end, we're going to love it 10 times more than what we even expected. So yeah, go listen to that song.
If not, I can sing it if y'all need.
No, it's okay. We can go to the next clip. Okay. All right. So that's all the clips that we have for today. But we did want to ask you some things that we didn't get because, we aren't in your mind. So we wanted to know, what's one thing that you remember specifically about the episode?
The one thing that I remember specifically about the episode was the part about my testimony where I spoke out about the like sexual abuse that I've endured within a relationship, like being raped. That was the first time I had said that out loud. And so that resonates with me as a turning point in my own healing process and my own growth process, that I was actually able to say it, share it, for the benefit of others and hope.
Speaking of your testimony, we just wanted to know, have you begun writing?
I have started writing out some things, and I started writing a little bit and then I stopped. I've written out some things, and I think it's just a process for me because it's usually for the first time seeing some of these things on paper, and I kind of have to sit with it and kind of push myself through the healing process of seeing it written on paper. Like I just have that process of releasing it. Like there's things that I know that I have to get out for the betterment. Somebody needs my testimony. And so it's very much a healing process for me. I'm still in the healing process of it. So it's not a rapid process at all. Right now I'm at a stopping point, as I've realized some things about myself that weren't healed. And we're gonna push through it and grow and continue writing.
Yeah.
Yep. Be intentional about writing. The second thing, have you began mentoring?
Yes, she just mentored us today.
Not today. Before today. Today does not count. Yes, today was good, but it does not count.
Um, I have made some attempts at mentoring. I have had a couple of church members, women in my church that I realized need a purpose friend. And I've been reaching out to some of these women, and so I had one that was having a horrible breakup, and I was able to inject, some advice and mentorship and love into that situation, and kind of move forward. And that was really hard. It was really hard. That was the first one, and
I know
so
that with relationship stuff, you give it straight, no chaser, and you concerned about it. I feel like I'd be getting in trouble. I'm like, I'm sorry.
and I mean, I wasn't going to put you on front street. Yes, I mentored you. So I mean, since you mentioned it, okay, we don't go into that. So I have also been mentoring Shay. It's been baby steps with different people. I have, I'm kind of learning my mentoring style, because I know that, like she said, I'm very, very straightforward. And so I know that I can't be that way with everybody. So, and even though that's just me, I have to learn how to say something that's the truth. And even though it's always said with love, I have to kind of
Gotta clean it up.
head. So, like, I'm kind of learning my stride with that, because I want to be able to mentor and touch kind of touch as many people as possible, but at the same time I know that I'm not for everyone and I can't help everyone. So
that's good. I know that I offered you the opportunity to be able to mentor people indirectly through the blog post that we talked about. It hasn't started. We are still working on it in the background. We will let you guys know when it's ready. But just being able to just think of topics that come to your mind, and sometimes that's the best mentoring people will get, because some people won't actually go and try to get a mentor. They'll just scroll through the internet and use Google, who's their friend, to figure out everything that they need. So I think that'll be a great outlet for you as well.
It's just interesting how things keep circling back through Shantavia, who has, unbeknownst to her, I mean, I unbeknownst to her, you kind of been nicknamed like my purpose friend, because you keep pulling stuff out of me that my mentor has been trying to pull out of me.
I didn't even know. Look at God. Doing what he do. I see it.
And,
So how did you feel about watching yourself back on the episode? And is there anything else that you didn't say during the episode that you want to insert here?
Watching the episode challenged me a lot. The first few segments were great for me to watch, but what challenged me the most was watching my testimony, because it was so difficult for me to share it. And a lot of people are like, it didn't look like it was difficult. It looked like you were just ready to, share that, and you were excited about it. But that was the hardest thing that I've ever done.
Oh.
And it was really hard for me to watch it, because some of the things, again, that came up and out, I didn't intend on sharing initially, just came up and out. And it was stuff that that I was still healing. And so it became very difficult to watch. Like, I watched part of it like at Shay's house, and I cried, because it was just like, wow, this is a lot of me being shared. And I felt really vulnerable about it after the fact. And I had to come to terms with knowing that this was God's will and God's purpose, and that this was something that was needed for someone else, for their healing journey. for them to get through some things. And the thing that I wanted to share after watching it, of realizing that I shared so much, and I didn't want anyone to think that, like, oh, it was a woe is Ivana. Like, oh, look at all the horrible things that she's been through. It was look at all that I've been through, and I'm still here, and I'm still doing great things for the glory of God, and I'm still um trying, pushing forward in my purpose. It was even though you're going through or have been through horrible things, God has so much purpose in you. There's so much calling in your life, and there's so much beauty in you that you're needed. You're needed. You may not feel like you are needed or anybody needs you or wants you, but you're needed. And that was something that I wanted to say.
Because that is very true. Like, yes, you may be going through it, but I got through it, so you can get through it. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today and giving us a little update, quarantining and chilling with us. It has been a fun experience to have you on the show again. And we hope to have you back sometime soon and get a little update on your mentoring thing and, your writing. Whenever you do finish writing, we will, do some posting on our page to get it out there. We're always here for you.
Of course, I appreciate you guys having me. It's been such a fun experience as always.
All right, so we'll go ahead and say goodbye to Ivana, and again, thank you so much. And that's all I have. Have anything to add, Ashley?
That's all, folks.
All right, well, until next time, Ivana. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye.
All right, thank you guys for joining. I hope that something was said to inspire you guys and encourage you guys. Look out for our next quarantine episodes that are coming soon. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And as always,
Be obedient. See you guys next time.